Oh, hello, my lovelies. I've been away for a minute and now we're back. And I keep promises and I try really hard to keep my promises. And I know that I promised in my update video, the Nier Automata video, but I realized that there was something that I promised way earlier, all the way back in the year that I absolutely have to do. And I have to do this video or it's gonna keep bothering me. This is actually the long-awaited Jinx video, and this is specifically Jinx from Arcane. And because I haven't done another Juxtaposition video, I actually have to make this a Jinx and a Juxtaposition video all in one go. So this will be a longer audio, not for any other reason than it has to be longer. So really quickly here, thank you to the patrons, thank you to the editor, thank you to you, the lovely viewers. Please like, share, and subscribe because something YouTube's algorithm, which makes absolutely no sense, but whatever, and let's get into this. So when I do juxtapositions, right, if you've seen the first one, we pick one character, we microanalyze them, then we move to their exact opposite, which fills kind of the same role, and go from there. Now, when I was writing this script, it took me a long time, not for any other reason than because Jinx is a wild card, and Jinx is a wild card for a reason, that's narratively what she has to be, and it took me a long time to microanalyze everything and blah blah blah. And the only reason I put her with Caitlyn is because even though Jinx is a wild card and fits her role in the narrative very well, Caitlyn also does this very well, but in a very different sense, which narratively fits her just as good. But the only thing that both of them share all across the board, right, is actually more than what most people think. Other than the blue hair, the being really good at shooting, and the loving Vi, there is something that both of them share that seems to be, skipped over, and I want to touch on it. And you might be thinking, well, what could it possibly be? They're both, really good at pre-planning not only everything out, but having a backup plan in the event of that original plan failing. They're mastermind thinkers. So, let's get who they are out of the way, and then we'll deep dive into the why that fits them. Caitlyn, for all intents and purposes, is from Piltover, right? The extreme, rich kind of a thing, all of that. And she really wanted to, instead of taking her mother's place on the esteemed High Council, she actually wanted to be part of the police force and actually do a good job, but her parents, because it's their only kid, actually use their positions of power to put her out of harm's way as much as physically possible, and Caitlyn is just not about that life and is like, nope, I will do this my way or we won't do it at all. And she's actually a very competent police officer, but because her higher-ups are basically being, strong-armed by her parents and also the threat of funding, I think, being cut, they constantly keep her, on desk jock duty or, just stand here and guard this. It's a trash can, sir. Just stand here and guard this. Okay. Do you see what I mean? She wants to do more, they won't let her. And then she finally is like, you know what? I'm just gonna go do it. I'm gonna go figure out this mystery and be really good at it. And Caitlyn at the beginning is actually realistically very cautious, and as the series progresses on, the longer she hangs out with Vi, she begins to get into her true form of, I don't have time for this and we need to go, now. Also just also all the gay shit, right? All the lesbian shit. They just stuffed it in there and it's great, and narratively it works really well. But we don't have time to get into that. It's a whole separate video. Gotta stop making promises in these audios, I swear to God. Caitlyn not only has the foresight to think ahead and plan ahead, but she also is constantly throughout the series looking at all of her clues and pulling a Sherlock move of deconstructing all of it. And she's actually an incredible shot for somebody who realistically has never actually needed to shoot a gun prior to this. And I've noticed this when I've looked at the other enforcers who are not on the bridge, right? When you see them, they're actually, realistically, they're really bad shots. She's the only good one out of the bunch. But the enforcers that are on the bridge that have to defend, the border, they're crack shots because well, in all honesty, they're kind of like power hungry and also like fucking crazy. And you know what? It's neither here nor there. We'll get to it. Anyway, that's Caitlyn, right? And this is the part where I jump over to Jinx and how this is the juxtaposition. Jinx is not a high anything from anywhere. She's a slum dog. She's from the lanes. But she, like Caitlyn, is a wonderful shot. She thinks things through, like, in the moment it's happening and plans accordingly. Other than the few times we see when she's having her little mini mental breakdowns, even those are not, like, taking her out of the game. It's motivating her to do better. And it is made no more apparent than the tea party she holds, where she has her big speech and everybody's tied up and tells Vi, you have to pick of which seat do I sit in, Powder or Jinx. That entire scene tells you point blank, she is running this gambit of I gotta get this done and I gotta make sure everybody's there. And she not only waits for Caitlyn in her house in Piltover, right? A house that she broke into that most assuredly probably has, security. She broke in, kidnapped her, and got back out with nobody, like, I'm assuming, seeing her, and it's amazing. And the reason why I say, like, they're masterminds is because while both of them are playing this I gotta think ahead game, here's where it's the juxtaposition, right? Because while both of them are thinking ahead, both of them are thinking ahead for very entirely different reasons. Caitlyn thinks ahead in terms of, like, the greater good to help everybody. Jinx thinks ahead in terms of, how do I win this war? Because I'm not going to sit here and fight every battle. That's dumb and I refuse to. And you can see that most when she's actually, like, fighting, even in general, right? When she's fighting with... Okay, I think I have to set this scene up. When she's on the tower after she pops the flare and Vi and Caitlyn come to get her, and then Echo and his crew show up and they have to fight Echo and his people, you can see while she's fighting them, while Caitlyn and Vi are just trying to hurt enough to get out, Jinx is playing for keeps. She wants the headshots. And it's made no more apparent than when one of the Fireflies comes right at her and she just looks them dead in the face, leans back, pops off one of her little, like, chatterbox grenades, sticks it to the back of their hoverboard, and then turns around and shoots them. For the record, you, the audience, get to see this, right? If you slow-mo it down, that entire interaction takes maybe, at most, 5-10 seconds. That's impressive, that not only did she see it coming, she formed a plan, and she thought of the best way to win that fight, and it works. She's even shown that she's very much, even before she gets, right, the shimmer stuck into her, she's very quick on how to, like, con people to get where she wants. Like with Savika, when she ruins the stuff that they're transporting when the Fireflies first show up. Savika's yelling at her, and she turns on the, I have no idea why you're yelling at me face. The second Savika turns away from her, we, the audience, see her go from, I'm so confused, to, I wonder how long it would take me to, like, hit you and kill you and make it look like an accident. She's very meticulous, and I don't want to, like, assign mental illness to people. That's rude, 1. 2, I'm not licensed for it, so I couldn't begin to guess. And 3, it's a show, so realistically, I don't need to do that. But she's so insidiously, like, good at it that it makes me sometimes so mad because, oh my god, you are such a well-written character. Actually, scratch that. Everybody in Arcane is very well written because whoever was writing this, I don't know where you found these writers, but my god, they deserve a pay raise, the artists too. The reason why I'm bringing up Jinx having her, like, I'm trying to think of the word. Having her ability to be so good at fighting is because it speaks more about how she was raised and how Caitlyn was raised, which is another juxtaposition. Caitlyn wanted to learn how to fight because it's something she felt she needed to do. Jinx didn't have that choice. She was told, fight or die. Those are your two options. That was realistically it. And I feel like while she was under the care of Silco, not only did he encourage her maliciousness, he expected it of her. Because what good is a soldier if they're not willing to do what needs to be done? Now, I've heard plenty of people sit there and tell me, oh, but he treated her like a daughter. Hey guys, you can train an attack dog specifically for the purpose of wanting to protect your stuff, and you can love it. But at the end of the day, even though you love that attack dog, you still know it's an attack dog. You bought and purchased it and trained it for one reason only. You're gonna still be upset when it dies and you're still gonna love it, but you will replace it. You always replace the animals that have purpose behind them. You'll notice that people that are like, oh, but they have a pet cow. Yeah. What happens when that cow gets turned into food? They'll be sad about it for a little bit, and then that cow gets replaced. That's the order of this. So even though Silco treated her like a daughter, put that in air quotes, he didn't actually love her like how people keep trying to tell me. And until somebody can actually bring to me monumental, indisputable evidence of the otherwise, I will die on this hill that Silco loved her insofar as he needed to love her. But actually, for realsies, it was like conflicting emotions during a high-stress situation, and no, I will not get off of this hill. Fight me. And besides that, this is not even a Silco video. This is a Jinx and Caitlyn video. The reason why I bring up how they were raised is because during Jinx's tea party, when Caitlyn actually gets Jinx's big-ass, machine gun and has her at gunpoint, Jinx, for a minute, right, does back off, but you can see that she does the exact same thing like she did to Savika. She gives her that, please don't hurt me, little girl look. And Caitlyn, like the sucker she is, falls for it. And she falters, right? When she should have been, hardcore and not back down, she falters. And Jinx takes that opportunity to quite literally wreck her, right? Waste it. And the reason why it works is because it shows you that even though Caitlyn has been training to fight, she is a novice in comparison to Jinx, who was taught how to fight in wars. An entirely big difference. And no offense, right? But Jinx, for all of her being a skinny waif and crack addict energy, is unbelievably strong. Because that machine gun is not little. Realistically, that thing right there is probably heavier than hell. But she's able to lift it up, no problem. Whereas Caitlyn, you can see, even though she's also lifting it, you can see that she falters a little while she's trying to because she's not used to having to hold something that heavy. She's used to having a very reliable single-shot gun. Jinx was bred for war, and she thrived in it. Caitlyn wasn't. So the juxtaposition that I can only really narrow down is this. Both of them have similar enough qualities outside of their blue hair, being able to shoot, and their love for Vi. They have enough similarities that make them mirrors of each other without actually having to be mirrors. And it is wonderful writing is because when Jinx finally just lets go of all her inhibitions and actually destroys the tower, right, the ending episode that also kills Caitlyn's mom, this sets up Caitlyn wanting to get revenge on Jinx, which means Caitlyn is going to have to double down on being good at what she's already been kind of decent at, because Jinx has already shown her without hesitation, I shoot better, I don't hesitate, and I have killed people before, and me killing you will be another typical Tuesday for me. It won't even be a blip on my radar. So Caitlyn has to come meet her on her level, which is a wonderful way of writing character growth, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for season 2 in all honesty. I just thought it was great. Also, the music was fire. So finally, I am done with my promise forever ago of doing the Jinx video, which has actually turned into a juxtaposition video. And I made another promise, damn it. But that's okay. That's not the point of this. The point of all of this is I am so glad that I was able to finally fulfill this one promise and all of my other promises for this year. And we are winding down actually to the finale of this year. And I would just really like to tell you guys thank you so much for being here for the past year. It does really mean a lot, and I hope that you guys continue to stick around to see what we have for next year. With that being said, a big thank you so much, and I hope you have an amazing rest of whatever remains of this year. Can't wait to see how it ends. Bye-bye!